Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's one's a little bit different. I might make a series like the what is it? The archives, the fitness archives, but I might call this one like the I don't know, fitness confessions or something like that. And it's basically controversial topics, and I'm not doing it for the sake of being contrarian. It's just something that's just in my mind where, this is why I don't really follow fitness content whatsoever other than Instagram because I'm just forced to. If I'm just on Instagram, I'm forced to kind of just see it based on what who I interact with or what I post. But for the most part on YouTube, like I know who's who, but I don't really look into their videos because in my opinion, for me, I feel like I know everything in regards to myself and how my body works. And I learn through my clients what works, what doesn't, So as you may have guessed, today's topic is about exercise tier lists, just tier lists in general. Now, this is just my opinion, obviously. So you're welcome to disagree wholeheartedly. But I'll tell you why I dislike them. I think they're complete garbage. The reason why I dislike exercise tier lists or even workout splits is because eventually everything that you do with intent will get you to the end goal. Sorry, I'm reading off bullet points that I wrote because I have a tendency to yap. And I want these videos to be like 8 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that, maybe even less. I don't want to keep you guys waiting. The faster or more efficient way is often just internal cope. And I'll tell you what I mean by this. So like, for example, pendulum squats are regarded to be the best quad builder when it comes to squat patterns. It's above hack squats and it's above leg press, etc. But what I mean by internal cope is basically, see, in the fitness community, most people are insecure. And some of these influencers will pry on that. They know you're insecure, so they'll make, videos or even clickbaity titles like why your quads are small and what exercise you're not doing, or the barbell squats are the worst, etc., etc. So that's what I mean by internal cope. Like you're always trying to find what is the best exercise that's going to get your development from point A to point B the fastest. And I totally get that. I truly, totally get that. But here's my other point. What's the rush? Because most likely you're going to be lifting for life considering the fixation on minute, irrelevant details. So most people who concern themselves with tier lists and whatever, they're pretty heavily invested in lifting, right? Like they're pretty into it, whether you consider them to be a novice, intermediate, or advanced. Like they're really in the nitty gritty, because the average Joe, they don't care about this stuff. They don't care. Like they're just kind of like, give me an exercise to hit my legs, and they don't question you. They don't think like, oh, isn't the leg press? They might say like, aren't squats unsafe or something like that. But for the most part, if you get them to do a pendulum squat and they've never done one before, they're not going to be like, is this better than leg press? They don't really care. Everything has pros and cons, and you need to weigh this up without being influenced by anyone, not even me or this video, okay? And this is why I love not kind of delving into any fitness content, because I used to have paralysis by analysis, and I used to like always second guess and question my programming. And I get that. I truly get that. I'll be thinking like, yeah, look, I like full body, man, but I don't think I'm getting enough volume if I do it this way, or I'm not focusing too much because I'm only doing bro splits. And like, that's just, I don't know, mental anguish that no one really needs. It's not going to help in any way, shape, or form. And kind of like the exercise tier list, that in and of itself is a waste of time, because eventually if you give it enough time, consistency and intent, it's going to get you to the final destination. I've got a pretty decent analogy here that I'll say. I mean, here's the analogy. What's better, driving to the grocery store or walking there? It depends on the context, right? The car's faster, it shields you from the environment, and has ample space to carry the groceries. Most people look at it that way. They'll look at it as superior to walking because of the time spent going from point A to point B, the fact that it's harder to carry all those groceries all at once, and the inconvenience of it, and the slight chance it might rain. Like you can't really predict the weather unless it's like today, it's freaking amazing outside. But what most people forget is that the walk might be exactly what you need for your mental health. Fresh air, time to sit with your thoughts. It might also help with your heart health, helps you get your steps in, or even slightly improve your grip strength when you have to carry all those groceries. But one thing's for sure, guys, both methods will eventually get you to the end destination if you just stop overthinking, right? Like eventually, if you just stop overthinking and you have intent, my intent is to get to that grocery store and buy XYZ. Eventually, I'm going to get there. Despite me walking to the grocery store, i.e. barbell back squats, instead of driving in my car and cutting time, being shielded from the weather, i.e. the most stable machine, pendulum squat sort of exercise. Here's another good point I've written down. I remember at one point, a couple of years back, I used to think my home gym was epic for upper body, but lacked lower body options. And man, I couldn't be more wrong. And I'm going to show you some of the exercises in the coming days, hopefully, if someone brings it up. But you will see what I mean. Like, I have probably some unique ways of executing lifts that you probably can't do at a commercial gym. And if you could, it's just going to take up space, or it takes time to kind of set up, and it's going to be inconvenient. But when you see me do it, you'll see this appreciation as to perhaps this is why this guy enjoys being at a home gym as opposed to a commercial grade gym. So I'm glad I never really gave up. And to this day, my home gym keeps, dropping gems. It's like stuff I figure out where I could have done years ago, but I just didn't have that motivation, intent, and drive to really just lock in and figure out where can I really optimize, I hate saying that word, but optimize this lift in a way where it has that commercial grade experience. But yeah, I think that's all I have in this regard. But this is why I hate exercise tier lists. It kind of preys upon your insecurities. You start to second guess what you're doing. And at the end of the day, you're going to get from point A to point B. A lot of people will say, well, not really. When I switched to hack squats, my quads blew up. You're most likely right. But there's the reason being, it might be because you have more intent now. You enjoy it more. And it might suit your body. Like for me, I love conventional deadlifts and high bar back squats, front squats, those pure barbell like movements. And I've started to see growth again. But does that mean these are superior to what I was doing before? Probably not. But because I put so much focus and effort into them, and I have like goals of like squatting X amount at this age, at this body fat, at this body weight. Some of these exercises actually do hit some muscle groups that are like for example, the adductors. My adductors have grown a bit because I'm back to squatting and deadlifting very, very frequently and very intensely. While before I was thinking like, man, my legs are small, but they weren't. It's just like I wasn't getting enough stimulus for that region, and I don't really have like an adductor machine, which ironically doesn't really hit the adductor magnus, which is the biggest adductor muscle out of the adductor family, But yeah, it's just at the end of the day, as a natural, you can only grow so much. So you can definitely say like, well, the back squat, like the limiting factor, it'll never be your quads, it'll be your upper back, your core, your low back, blah 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 blah. But for me, how I look at it is, eventually, it might take you 2 years of consistent, hard, heavy training frequently with intent to get the best quad development using those pendulum squats and some leg extensions. Well, for me, it might take me 4 years to get that development without using those, but just really, really pushing myself. Maybe when you're like enhanced, i.e. taking stuff, performance enhancing drugs, is going to be a different story, because you can kind of like limit that supposed fatigue. That's another word I hate. Like there's fatigue does exist, but I think we're just so scared of delving into that realm in case we, again, it's all fear-based. And this is, anyway, I'll leave it here and I'll get into more of these controversial like topics here and there, or the archives, etc. But I really appreciate the engagement. It's very ironic that the less I care about this, the subscriber count is going up ever so slightly, and I'm getting engagement. Well, before I had to really put thoughts. This just came out now because I was chatting with a client about this. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll just talk about this. Why not? And then I put some notes here. But in any case, I have yapped long enough. So I'll see you guys next one. Cheers.